Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Hello, LPR, Tyler in the house. Pretty sure it's not muted. Pretty sure it's Christmas Eve. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I have a few updates, things to talk about. Rootless Redneck is in the chat. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. I'm gonna also read some viewer mail because my show on Nick's body cam, for me, it blew up. It's like 2,000 views or so. So I thought I would go over some of the mailbag because I haven't looked at it. And all of a sudden I looked yesterday, it was kind of going hot, and there's a bunch of questions and people. This question here, or this statement here, maybe I'll just get right into this too, because this kind of stuff, it does always crack me up, and I hope everyone can hear everything out there. Hope we're all doing good. Let's go to the browser. Let's try this one. So this guy says, maybe, am I supposed to do my mailbag? Let's do that.
I think Tyler is amazing.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
You've got mail.
Okay, maybe the dumbest thing I have going on here in this show. Okay, so let's take a look here. This guy says, Jesus James, dude, set your cameras up before you hit record. Pretty annoying. Might get more subs. The first 3 minutes of this were a complete waste of my life. Well, that's on you. And what I will say to this, maybe we'll answer this as we go along here. That show was a shit show from the start. I was trying some new things. My encoder on my computer was crashing it. Each time I had to do it, it was a third shot, and then it reset anyway. So there were all kinds of problems. So let's heart this. Let's reply to this guy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. I had some tech issues on this one. Glad you stayed for the whole thing. Hit the sub button. Hit the sub button so you won't miss me next show with perfect cams. It's perfect yams, perfect cams. There you go. We added that. This one says, and these are mostly on the Nick one here. From my understanding, and I could be wrong, this is from Kiss64325, you people. I could be wrong. The porch has the same protection as the interior of the home. Now, obviously, people are allowed to come into the porch and knock in a normal capacity, but if the owner tells someone to leave and they don't, that could be considered criminal trespass or burglary. Okay. Let's just go here. So, okay, fine. Nick sprayed them without telling them to leave first. Okay, I mean, this is the shit we got to deal with. Like Nick or hate him, he is not a Fed. There is zero evidence of that. Check out the vids of him telling people to storm the Capitol and then get back to, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble, to me on why he isn't or wasn't arrested. There you go. We're just going to keep going through some of these. I know you're like, why am I answering these? People going after Nick, Alex, Ice, etc. for a while, doxing and swatting these guys has been happening for years. It's obviously not his fault, but he should be out there once the info is leaked. People will send packages and constantly try to screw him. Okay, I don't really know what that is. Honestly, the cop should have arrested this woman for harassment. I don't have a problem with that either. Skip, fluff, stall, fluff, no content. Thanks for the honest feedback, Blowhard. There you go. Alex, that was Lynn's later Jr. Okay. Alex Morales TT7KO says, I don't mean that in a bad way. My previous statement, just wondering if they want to get rid of if Latinos and not the others who came in. I don't know what he's talking about. I think it's kind of sick. Some of y'all are laughing about being stalked. Okay. I'm getting stalked too, Nick. Like, for real. Okay. That person's got troubles. Like, who would stalk her? If you need some tech help, let me know. Just found your channel and what you're doing. Thanks. Will do. Thumbs up. Great video, great commentary. I'm glad YouTube randomly decided to show me your video today. By the way, local admin said the other one, and this is Joe Down 5584. Great video, great commentary. Reply, thanks. Yeah, I got a few subs from that. I don't actually know what his views really are, but if a bunch of people are obviously there with bad intentions and they continually harass and knock his door, I mean, can you blame him? A little bit, but not all. Stopped watching. The guy is an apologist for Nick Fuentes, who's openly a white supremacist. Okay, LOL. I deplore. I think Nick. Oh, hang on. Nick is a Fed and a bad and I don't know, and a weirdo. But keep on. Okay. This Don Rhinestone, by the way, that was King 6420 said that. Sorry, 6210. He needs to move out of Illinois, the worst state for defending yourself. Move to Indiana. Okay. Then Kenneth replies to that. So, is unlocking the door and voluntarily open it to a person you've been afraid of for 3 days self-defense? Please do. Okay, I have to be okay liking that one as well. Oh, Nick Fuentes is a Mexican anchor baby. I hope he doesn't get deported. I love how he threw down the I'm a Mexican card in the United States while Trump is president. That's called privilege. Okay. None of what you wrote made any sense. I thought it made some sense. No, that's called trolling. It's trolling for people only slightly above NPC level, which is why you don't get it. Okay. These people are going back and forth. So tell me, 2020 GOP bot, how do you feel? Okay, now we're just talking about stupid stuff. If he is an anchor, but I don't really care about all that. I'm confused. Barnes claim. Okay, this is a different one. This is 3 weeks ago. We already talked about that. One. And look, I understand we may not get very many people in here today. My cat's on the floor. Let me just tell you this straight out. Man, I should have uploaded it. Adopted 2 stepkids yesterday. They're both adults, but we went through this process. They've been here for 12 years. They've been my kids, and so I had to consent to it. We went to court, had family there. It was pretty cool to do it in the courthouse that I'm practicing in all the time, the family court. And 3 of us got to go up there, and then the judge brought my wife up there as well because she's their mom. They all consented. We all did it. We went out to eat. It was a good time. Good time had by all. So pretty excited. Really cool. And kids changed their name, so that's also because that was I was my cat's in here because that was something I was like, hey, you're 18, you kind of have this, it's on you whether to do this. And there was some kind of discussion about that, and my kids went and talked to the other kids, and they all made a decision to do this. So it's pretty wonderful in that respect. So kind of cool. All right. What I'm going to go through here is Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I think that's who it is. There's a lawsuit right now out about it. Let me take a look here at. There's the lawsuit, and it's odd because it doesn't give the jurisdiction of where it's at. Usually, right up in here, it says which court it is. There's not even a case number, so I am assuming this is the right one. It's 80 pages long. Everyone's referencing this one. This is the one I found online, but it is odd the way this is done. So it makes me feel like this was a copy that was done. Well, first of all, you should have it here in the header. This is deadline where I got this off of. You should have over here right above this complaint for damages. It should say which court it's in. If you don't have a case number, that's fine, because I'm pretty sure this was done before it was filed. There's no filing up here. So, but it's a little odd. It doesn't say where it's at, but it's probably California. I imagine that's where the film was taking place. So we will go through that a little bit, but it's, what's her name? Blake Lively. We'll talk about who she is. Against Warefare Studios, a California LLC, Justin Baldoni, an individual. Jamie Heath, an individual. Steve Sarowitz, an individual. Melissa Nathan, an individual. The agency group, PR LLC, a Delaware limited liability company. Jennifer Abel, RWA Communications LLC. Jed Wallace, Street Relations Inc., a California corp, and Does 1 through 100. In other words, you can add people on there as you go if need be, amending your complaint and whatnot. So, perfectly fine. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Let's go to who is Blake Lively and who is Justin Baldoni. Baldoni? Is that how you call him? There you go. There's the person. So I'm taking this straight off of Wikipedia because that's just how it goes. JC says Merry Christmas to you all. Yeah, Merry Christmas. It's tomorrow, JC, but Merry Christmas to you today as well. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Blake Eleanor Elender Lively, born 1987, yikes, is an American actress, a daughter of actor Ernie Lively. Who's Ernie Lively? Let's just hover over this. Should bring him up. American actor, acting coach, and stepfather of actors Lori Lively, Jason Lively, Robin Lively, father of actors Eric and Blake. Took his wife's name from their prior marriage to Ronald Lively Bremen. Whoops, sounds like a real winner. Changing his surname from, okay, who cares? But that's weird. She made her professional directorial debut in Sandman, 1998. Interesting. She had her breakthrough role in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, 2005, and its 2008 sequel. Lively achieved recognition from her portrayal of Serena Vanderwoodson in the CW teen drama television series The Gossip Girl. Matinee. Yeah, thanks, Maddie, for coming in. I'm just doing this real quick, and then I'm going to get back to, and then I'm going to get back to helping my wife. Got the kids coming over tomorrow, and my parents and whatnot. So we try to keep it low key, but that's how it goes. Lively had supporting roles in romantic comedies, New York. Okay, so she's an actress. She played Carol Ferris in superhero Green Lantern, and that's where she met her husband, Ryan Reynolds. They married in 2012, and together they have 4 children. She's also known for her advocacy and an ambassador for Chanel and L'Oreal. What's her advocacy for? It's just going to define what advocacy. What is her? Didn't say what it is. So, Ryan Reynolds, she's only been married once. I give her a lot of credit for that. 4 kids. Seems like, he seems like a decent dude on the up and up as well. Maybe we should look and see how many times Ryan has been married. Has he been married? Oh, Scarlett Johansson. That's right. So he was married to those. So he does well, but I think he has all 4 children with Blake. So yeah, so those are, that's his family brother-in-law. I don't know who that is. So there you go. Early life. So she was born to this guy. She's been in LA. She has an older brother, Eric. Do we know who he is? Don't know. Let's see if there's anything she went to. So she's a native LA girl, basically. Burbank High School, cheerleader, member of the champion choir and class president, overachiever. Her older brother asked his talent agent to send her several auditions. She was subsequently cast in Bridget in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. There you go. And filmed her scenes between her junior and senior year of high school. So there you go. High school. Then she was on Gossip Girl. Not watched it, but I know people have. Film careers. She's done well. That's, obviously. And then she had this one film coming up. It Ends With Us. Okay. And I think Deadpool and Wolverine, she was going to be something there. But It Ends With Us is an American romantic drama film directed by Justin Baldoni, from the screenplay by Christy Hill, based on the 2016 novel by Colleen Hoover. The film stars Blake Lively. I think it's about ending with us violence towards women, right? So that's kind of what your whole deal is. See if there's anything here that's interesting. Personal life. Okay. She's with Ryan Reynolds. Something about Taylor's Lively and Reynolds are close friends with singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. Oh, who cares? Following the civil rights protests I had not known this was how these were qualified. Following the civil rights protests in 2020. You mean the BLM riots? That's civil rights. Now, if you were if the civil rights protests that you're actually talking about, and you'd relate it back to the lockdowns and COVID and actually your civil rights being taken away, I would maybe justify that. And Rachel says DV, so I imagine you're talking about domestic violence. Maybe I'll have to watch the movie. I mean, that's literally a lot of what I do in my job is domestic violence relations, restraining orders. And relations, yeah. Following those protests in 2020, Lively's husband, Reynolds, publicly apologized and expressed regret for the usage of the Bone Hall plantation due to its association with slavery, stating, I mean, these people are just... This is one of those issues where I'm going to come away just going like, yeah, there's no good people here. I don't know, when you're this kind... My cat is literally going to town on my headphones. Due to its association with slavery, stating what we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw was a place built upon devastating tragedy. Years ago, we got married again at home, but shame works in weird ways. A giant fucking mistake like that can either cause you to shut down or it can reframe things and move you into action. Repatterning and challenging lifelong social conditioning is a job that doesn't end. Yeah, that's right. You're trying to do patterning and you're trying to do social engineering, I think, with this stupid statement. My niece got married this year in South Carolina, and we went back there, and it's kind of this, not plantation, but it was and it has just, there's a lot of plantations you can go check out and everything. That's not happening anymore, and it's perfectly fine to go see what life used to be. And it's also, what are you going to do? Just destroy this place, burn it down? If you can't use it anymore, just because that's what it was then. Maybe going there and having this is a good thing to, have recognition of what used to be. Hang on. I don't know, this excuse me, this cultural whitewashing or whatever they're doing here is just stupid. Lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Okay, so we're gonna go with that here, but let's take a look at this Justin Baldoni guy and see who he is here. He's an American actor. Baldoni started his career as an actor portraying Ralpho Solano on the CW satirical telenovela Jane the Virgin. Since directed 5 Feet Apart, Clouds, It Ends With Us. Don't know anything about him. Doesn't even think I've ever seen this dude. It's born in LA, raised in Medford, Oregon. I do know that place quite well. Son of Sharon and Sam Baldoni. His mother is of Jewish descent. Where's the... I don't know. And his father is Italian ancestry. His family are members of the Baha'i faith. This is a monotheistic religion founded in the 19th century that teaches the essential worth of all religions and the unity of all people. Established. Okay, so it's just trash. Once again, I'm finding things about all these people that I just dislike. His paternal grandfather is Louis Baldoni, an Indiana senator and Italian immigrant. Okay. He played soccer, ran track, and was a radio disc jockey for a local top 40 radio station. While moving into a new apartment building, he met a manager who advised him to pursue a career in acting. He attended college on a partial athletic scholarship and later dropped out. So he's been on The Young and the Restless, Dawn Breakers International Film Festival for something. Let's see what else he has done. Now he does acting and he does directing. So... Plank, after New York Times reported allegation that Baldoni sexually harassed Blake Lively. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Plank wrote in a statement, I will continue to support everyone who calls out injustice and holds the people standing there. Wayfarer Studios. Baldoni co-founded a production company called Wayfarer Entertainment that produces television, personal life. After almost 2 years of dating, Baldoni married Swedish actress Emily Foxler, also known as Emily Baldoni. Let's see if there's a picture. I don't see it. In Krona. They have a daughter and a son. Baldoni has stated he has ADHD. He's a devout member, okay, we said that, of the Baha'i faith. He is also a daily source of inner happiness, Baldoni. Through God, we are told to not rely on external or superficial joy and serenity. While no one is perfect at all, this is an incredible guiding light. Allegations of sexual harassment. Okay, so we're going to go through the sexual harassment stuff. I'm going to read actually the complaint, not all of it because it's pretty messed up as far as lengthwise. Fiery but peaceful. Yes, civil rights, fiery but peaceful. Rachel says yes. Haven't watched the movie yet, but read the books. Okay, you see, and then we got Tech just screwed up. He says K. He says I. Is K, he says E, or is I thought right? You even got him in all the right order. Well done. So I don't know. Sometimes those kind of movies just don't. Sometimes it's like stuff I deal with all the time at work, and I don't really care to watch stuff like that. Just different movies for different people. I did see the movie, and I don't know if you guys saw it at all. It's on Netflix. It's called Carry On. It's with Justin Bateman. My wife really wanted to see it too because she's a big fan of his. She did not like it particularly well, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it does give the feeling that it's trying to be like a new edition of Die Hard. Okay, it's even at Christmas. It's kind of a similar type of situation, and she didn't like it because she's a fan of him, and you suddenly see him as the bad guy, and she just wasn't really into that. So I actually enjoyed it. We actually watched Die Hard. My son's girlfriend the other night, she had never seen it, so we watched Die Hard, and she did like it. She was saying last night, she's like, it's interesting how she goes, it's kind of a slow start, but then once it starts going and he realizes he's dealing with Hans, it like builds, and I'm like, yeah, it's a great old school movie. I don't know about old school, but where it just builds, and when I rewatch it, because we watch it quite a bit now, when you watch it again, it just keeps going more, building more, and I love the slow burn. Right, it's pretty fantastic. Carry On takes place in Nola's airport. Oh, okay. I think they tried to have it. Was it in New Orleans? Or they were trying to say it was L.A. because I think there was pictures of L.A. I'm trying to remember now. It's just the other night. But Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you as well. I would say so. One, it's at Christmas. That's enough for me. I mean, that's kind of the. And you know what? Christmas time, Christmas Vacation is another good one. We watched a bunch of, and I'll get here to the Blake thing. We watched a bunch of really these sappy Hallmark style movies. My wife and I did. There you go. This is a different angle. My cameras are set up to that guy. They're set up here at home. It was at work. It was a bit troublesome. Sorry, something in my mouth. What were we even talking about? Die Hard movies. Oh, a bunch of these Lifetime type Hallmark movies. They're always the same thing. The dude doesn't work, or he chooses something over. He's way too greedy, and it's like these may have worked back in the '80s when greed is good and all that kind of stuff. And at this point, you're just kind of like, yeah, but dude, why don't you go fucking support yourself? Why don't you go, you don't have to just chop trees down for a living and think that everything's going to be fine. And then this woman's going to love you because the boyfriend's too greedy at Christmas time. It's so lame. Although I did start to watch one the other night. My wife was bitching about it because she didn't like Nicolas Cage, but the movie Family Man. It's actually Taya Leone's in it. And I wanted to see it because I hadn't seen it for quite a few years, but I remember really liking it. And I like it because that's to me, that's the ultimate goal, right? Which is you have this family and that is the love. Now, it doesn't mean you can't make money and you can't be successful. I mean, she was an attorney. He was, in the alternate universe. I would just say, go watch it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Merry Christmas, Die Hard, 11:10. Okay. They were saying it was LA, but it was filmed. Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Merry Christmas, Brother of Christ. Okay, I finished watching Home Alone 2 and Santa Claus. Well done. The Hallmark Channel loves churning out basically the same movie every time. Family Man is a great movie. Happy Feast of Nativity. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into some of this here, this lawsuit, because I just kind of want to, there we go. like I said, there's no descriptor over here of, where it's at. But here's the charges or the complaint for damages. Sexual harassment. So California. So once again, immediately you're seeing here, it's a California statute, California Government Code 12940, and then Title 5, 6, of the Civil Rights Act. So there's some Fed action here. There's some California state actions, retaliation under California Government Code, and Title 7 again, failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy harassment, retaliation, California Labor Code, aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation, breach of contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress, IIED, negligence, false light, invasion of privacy. Basically, it's a privacy issue, and it's portraying someone in a false light. So, and then interference with prospective economic advantage. These last two, and by the way, I have not read over this or watched anything on this yet. But those last two are interesting. So false light, invasion of privacy. This is someone who's private. Now, I think I wish I had read this over because I could have immediately got the elements on some of these. But that one, to me, I think there's different degrades, just like defamation of, are you doing something in your private life, or are you a public person? Is there an expectation of privacy? But then someone using your likeness in the false manner. So, taking a picture of you with someone, maybe it was a private situation, and then posted it publicly and making claims that aren't necessarily true, out of context type of stuff. These are torts. And then interference with prospective economic advantage. This would tie right in with that last one, which is you're portraying someone incorrectly, right? A false light of invasion of their privacy, in a way that now it's there. She's like, well, you're trying to make me the bad person. And this goes to the Jonny Depp type of thing. So we talked about Amber Heard, and I'm going to play a clip from here on this too as well. But she's basically saying, I would imagine here, just reading off the complaint, that she's saying you've done something and now you're trying to portray me in a way. Maybe I'm a hard person to work with, or whatever it is. I'm an asshole. I'm a bitch. And it's going to interfere with them, the studio trying to, at some point, hire me again, later on. So we'll go through that. Now, I don't know that I'm going to walk, because this is 80 pages, okay? But I do want to walk through kind of the introduction here, because it's going to set up and you're going to be like, oh, Tyler's going to read? Yeah, sorry about that. But it's going to set up for us some of the facts as far as they do. Greatest story never told is a Christmas movie. Okay, will Rico make an appearance here? Who's Rico? Rico Suave? I don't know. January 4, 2024, almost a year ago, prior to resuming filming of It Ends With Us, the film, following guild strikes and an all-hands meeting, was convened to address the hostile work environment that had nearly derailed production of the film. So this is the film. It's already going on, and there's going to be contentions here. My cat, she's love bombing me. Hey, you want to say hi? But then you gotta split. There she is. That's Luna. She's a pretty snazzy girl. She gets to roam the house. She also gets to roam outside. She actually does a better job taking care of the chickens, keeping them in line than dogs do. All hands meeting was convened for address the hostile work environment that had almost derailed the production of the film. Attendees of the meeting included Justin Baldoni, who is the co-founder of the Wayfarer Studios, owner of the film, and named defendant in this case, as well as the director, executive producer, and actor lead role of Ryle Kincaid. What a stupid name. Jamie Heath, the chief executive officer of Wayfarer and producer of the film. And 3, Ange Gianetti, the film's representative for its distributor Sony Pictures Entertainment. 4, Alex Sachs, the producer of the film. 5, Todd Black, a producer of the film. 6, Blake Lively, who played the role of Lily Bloom in the film. Miss Lively also had the agreed upon right to have a representative present. She chose her husband, given that the meeting was about repeated sexual harassment and other disturbing behavior by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. So she brings in Ryan Reynolds, who's a businessman. He's an actor. He knows what's going on. It's also her husband. I mean, typically in this case, you might not want to bring your husband in, but I actually give her a lot of respect. I mean, this to me just sets the tone, kind of like, she doesn't want, but now, I'm trying to remember, it was Candace Bure, maybe that's her name. She was on Full House. Oh no, yeah, and she's the sister of what's his name now? He was he was the best friend with Boner on that other TV show, and they're both real big Christians. And I just saw an interview with her. Well, it was a snippet, like a reels or something, a short. That's what it was. Where she was on YouTube, where she was saying she just stopped doing romantic comedy stuff because one, her and her husband were, had an agreement, but she goes, it didn't make him comfortable. We didn't even want to watch the movies. And some of you may be out there going, oh, what a prude. But I'm like, hey, I don't know. Even though it's acting, you want your wife making out with some dude? I mean, so these are decisions couples have to make. Now, I personally wouldn't be okay with that. That'd be very bothersome. But then do you just say, well, we get paid too much for me to really care or worry about it, so therefore I'm okay. And maybe this is why you don't have long-lasting relationships in Hollywood. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in this situation. I just know that if my wife was acting like this all the time, it would make you at some point feel a little uncomfortable and maybe insecure, right? She'd have to do a lot of work at home to make you feel secure, and the vice versa, right? So it's troublesome enough just being on Twitter sometimes, and she's like, "What's good?" And I'm like, "Trust me, I'm blocking these." So what I do is just make sure that whatever I'm doing would be no different than if my wife is peering over my shoulder. Leave my phone out all the time. Have at it. I don't give a shit because one, it keeps me in line. And because I know that, changing your philosophy like that's going to set some trigger off. So one, just don't even put yourself in those positions. It's a way to avoid being a Nick Reichardt type. But she brings her husband. She wants him fully involved in this situation. I just give her some credit on that one. Okay, as discussed in detail below, Ms. Lively was forced to address concerns about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct with them directly, and began doing so months before filming began. So it sounds like a long-term thing, or perhaps just when they were, I don't know what they do before filming. The concerns were raised were not only for herself, but for other females, cast and crew, some of whom had also spoken up. The January 4 meeting occurred only after Wayfarer had rebuffed Ms. Lively's efforts repeatedly. Okay, well, it's his own company. So when you see Wayfarer, you see Justin Baldoni. He's a co-founder. He's ahead of one of these things, the company. It's all one and the same, I would say. So I don't know that you really want to, so that's a problem, right? That's a problem there. And it's a problem for the company because they're probably, I'm just assuming a lot of facts here that aren't in evidence, but I'm assuming that they allow a lot of control with him. During the January 4 meeting, the parties discussed in detail the inappropriate misconduct that Ms. Lively, her employees, and other cast and crew experienced at the hands of Mr. Baldoni. So not just her and Mr. Heath. The list below was reviewed and discussed in its entirety. All parties present agreed that the outlined conduct would cease. Okay, they agreed it would cease. Does that mean, now this is, once again, the plaintiff's writing this, does that mean that they then all agreed that these facts were, in fact, this was truthful? I don't know if that's necessarily what this is. The outcome, would have to see a little bit of that. Okay, no more nude videos or images of women, including producer's wife, to BL as Blake Lively and or her employees. I mean, okay, it's not him sending dick pics, but you're obviously trying to get a reaction by showing nude photos of your wife to another woman. I mean, revenge porn. His wife may have a claim for revenge porn. No more mention of Baldoni's or Mr. Heath's previous pornography addiction. I wonder if that goes with his Baha'i religious beliefs, or BL's lack of pornography consumption to BL or other crew members. Yeah, these are really weird comments, assuming facts and evidence here are all true. The complaint. No more discussions to BL and or her employees about personal experiences with sex, including as it relates to spouses or others. These people, man. No more mention to BL. And by the way, this is on the set of a movie about domestic abuse. It's probably sexual violence and whatnot in there, right? This is harassment. All this goes in there. Well done, gentlemen. But this is Hollywood. I'm sorry. They'll do movies about, I'm just assuming here. They would do a movie about kid trafficking while they're trafficking. It's just the hypocrisy and the ability to get money for something that you're very well involved in. It's just gaslighting this, probably. No more mention to BL or her employees of personal times that physical consent was not given in sexual acts or either the abuser or the abused. Now, this could be pertaining to the movie script itself, right? No more mention to BL or employees of personal times. Consent. Okay, I said that one. No more descriptions of their own genitalia. Good Lord, people. No more jokes about or disparaging comments to be made to BL and her employees about HR complaints Wayfarer has already received on set, or about missing the HR meeting. Okay, that probably goes to retaliation. No more inquiries by Mr. Baldoni to BL, trainer, without her knowledge or consent to disclose her weight. Okay, I mean, come on, she's an actress. We need to know these things. No more inquiries, no more mention by Mr. Baldoni of him, quote, speaking to, quote, BLM's dead father. So evidently he thought he can channel her father. No more pressing by Mr. Baldoni for BL to disclose her religious beliefs or unsolicited sharing of his. Okay, that's just, I mean, if that was one of the only issues, you would just say, hey, fuck off, people. Talk about what you want on set. But you mix it in with all these other, list of 30 plus or whatever it is here. That's a little bit problematic. I would imagine no more mention of Mr. Baldoni of him speaking to her dead father. That to me sounds like a way of trying to get her emotional, right? To I mean, I'm just assuming he's trying to get in her pants here the whole time, right? You get her emotional, talking to your father, and then it's a way of manipulating her. That's what I'm guessing. Otherwise, he's just a complete crackpot. Assuming these are facts, correct. If BL and her infant is exposed to COVID again. Okay, so now we've got COVID issues. Must be provided with immediate note. BL and or her infant is, okay, so now she's the BL, the COVID freak. BL must be provided with immediate notice as soon as Wayfarer or any other producers become aware of such exposure without her needing to uncover days later herself. Okay, I don't know what the fuck. An intimacy coordinator must be present at all times when BL is on the set and scenes with Mr. Baldoni. So, Hollywood, they have an intimacy coordinator. I think it's, they put the sock, they do all these things to make sure that, her husband is probably okay. And she's okay. She doesn't want to have actual intimate relations with this dude. So they have to do it on the up and up. I mean, these are things that I think are good for people who are trying to have a, normal life, so to speak, in Hollywood and not be such creeps. Think a Chris Pratt type person. No more personal physical touching or sexual comments by Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath to be tolerated by BL and or employees, as well as any female cast crew without their express consent. No more improvising of kissing. All intimate touch must be choreographed in advance with BL and an intimacy coordinator. No biting or sucking of lip without BL consent. And all intimate or on-camera touch conversations must be, quote, in character, not spoken from Mr. Baldoni to BL personally. BL to have a representative, and, I imagine that is just, once again, it relates to everything else here, but it's probably for her own sake with her husband. I'm trying to give her some credit here on some of this stuff, right? Which is, look, I'm doing this. I don't want to misstate or have feelings. So I will do it in character. When it's you and I don't want to be kissing you. I don't want to be doing this. I'm doing, so it's her in a way trying to box her way into, compartmentalize things. I'm imagining. I mean, that's the way, probably the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to start having feelings for someone. So she's, really trying to do this. I could be completely wrong here, but I'm trying to try to read into some of this stuff because I think it's interesting. No more improvising. Okay, BL to have a representative on set at all times and with a monitor during scenes involving nudity, sexual activity, or violence with Mr. Baldoni. All actors, this is number 15, participating with, there's 30 of them, with BL in intimate scenes involving her being in the state of nudity or simulated nudity must be classified as active working actors, not friends of the director or producer, and must be shit. So he probably was just bringing people on scene. Hey, you want to see Blake Lively here getting wanked on this scene? No more filming of any BL nudity without a full executed SAG compliant nudity rider in place. Any such footage already shot without this rider in place and in direct violation of SAG requirements must be used without BL's and her legal representative prior written consent. Jeez. Any scene of BL or another performer depicting the character of, quote, Lily, quote, that involves nudity or simulated sex must be conducted strictly in accordance with the above referenced nudity rider and must adhere to the BL approved script. An intimate, this is like a major contract. I mean, it makes me, I mean, it must have been so bad that her and her husband or whomever sat down and wrote out all these facets. Maybe they had an outline and they came to him later and said, hey, everyone approves of these kind of things. I don't know. An intimacy coordinator must be on set at all scenes involving nudity and or simulated sex. No monitors to be viewed or accessible on set or remotely during closed set scenes except by BL approved essential crew. She just doesn't want her nakedness to inadvertently to be out there. No more entering, attempting to enter, interrupting pressure, or asking BL to enter her trailer and her makeup trailer by Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni while she is nude for any reason. No, I'm only laughing because it's just so over the top. Like, would you do that at any other workplace? No more entering, attempting to enter. Okay. No more private multi-hour meetings in BL's trailer with Mr. Baldoni. I love this. With Mr. Baldoni crying with no outside BL appointed representative to monitor. Who is this? So how do we say it? I don't even know how to say it. Fag. No more pressing Mr. Baldoni to SAG any BL to SAG. I don't know what that SAG any of BL's employees. Maybe that's a word. Do we need to even look that up? Maybe I don't know. Someone else look it up. Producer Alex Sachs to be given standard rights, inclusion, and authority per her job description and as represented to BL when signing on. I'm not sure what that is. Sony must have an active daily role in overseeing physical production of the remainder of the film. So this maybe is, his Wayfair studio. I think it was probably outsourced. It's his deal. He's writing it or he's producing this. He's starring in it. And it's probably, when you watch a movie and it's like Sony and then it's like all these other, and you've seen this with Family Guy where he's like, oh, the movie's, this is about trees. No. And it's one of their little opening scripts. It's all these different independent companies. I imagine Sony's the big backer and then they hired Wayfair Studios and they're basically saying, dude, you're such a shit show. Sony needs to be in charge here with what you're doing on the day of that. Engagement of an experienced producer to supervise. He's the producer. Or the director, which one is he? Safety of the cast, crew, schedule, logistics. Examples: Todd Lieberman, Elizabeth Cantillon, Miri Yoon, Lynette Howell. Engagement of a BL approved A-list stunt double to perform Lily in scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving rape and or sexual or violence. BL to perform only close-up work or work from a BL pre-approved shot list in scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving sexual violence. No more adding of sex scenes, oral sex, or on-camera climaxing by BL outside the scope of the script. BL approved when signing onto the project. No more asking or pressuring BL to cross physical picket lines. I don't know what that one's about. Actors strikes. Come on, bitch, get to work. That's what I'm saying. No more retaliatory or abusive behavior to BL for raising concerns or questioning safeguards. An in-person meeting, this is the last one, number 30, before production resumes with Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Miss Sachs, the Sony representative, the new producer, BL, and BL's spouse, Ryan Reynolds, to confirm and approve a plan for implementation for the above that will be adhered to for the physical and emotional safety of BL, her employees, and all the cast and crew moving forward. Okay, so we'll get into this. I thought maybe we should see how the chat's doing here. And a soccer team owner. Oh, he's a soccer team owner. As far as Hollywood celebrities, Blake always seemed like one of the more normal ones. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, maybe. That's your statement. Happy wife, happy life is certainly true. But some bitches just can't please. I'm just telling you. But as far, I really meant to talk about the other part. As far as the Hollywood celebrities, she's a normal one. Yeah, perhaps. I don't really know too much. But like I said, I haven't really checked any of her stuff out, so I don't really know. Blake Lively married to Ronald Reynolds? Yes, she is. Sock humping jokes inbound. Yes, they definitely are. All right, so let's keep going on here with this. I don't want to belabor it too much more, but because it's a long thing. So we'll talk about a little bit of this, and then I think we'll just kind of go over the recap and then be done. This meeting was an essential step in the process for the parties had agreed, but you needed to know all the accusations. Are they egregious? I mean, him crying, that in itself is problematic, but I mean, they're not necessarily all over the top, but you combine all of them. It just seems like a work environment that was probably just like, dude, get your shit together. And perhaps it gets worse as we go down, or maybe it gets better. Maybe she was overdoing it. Maybe nothing else. Maybe they agreed after this and nothing was coming up, and then she's filing a lawsuit, and they're like, and then it would negate some of this negligence on the part of the company. If they're like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore, and then they don't, okay, well, steps were taken, things got cleared up, maybe you're the problem. This meeting was an essential step in the process where the parties had agreed to several months before to allow the cast and crew to safely resume production of the film. In mid-November 2023, the parties had agreed in writing to implement a list of protections enumerated in a contract entitled Protections for Return to Production, attached hereto as Exhibit A. So here's one problem. This is just a technical thing, and this is it's mostly in civil in California, and then each county is typically different. But when you're in a civil suit and you're fighting, so I don't know, is this a federal or is this because you have both civil and federal here? Did you go take this to federal court? Did you take this to state court? I mean, civil. I'm mixing up state and federal. When you're in a state court and it's different on different localities, but I haven't seen it change, which is the plaintiff uses exhibits numbered 1 through ad infinitum, and the respondent or the defendant, it depends, family law or even civil law, they are letters for their exhibits. So this would be you see Exhibit A, the first thing you're thinking of is, okay, this is the defendant writing this, right? But this is the plaintiff doing this in civil, and I'm assuming it's a civil case, but I'm assuming it's in state court. Maybe it's federal. Maybe the items are different there. So that's a little bit odd to me. Once again, this was just odd. That had no jurisdiction as far as on the top, what court this is even in. So there's some weirdness here. Attached hereto is Exhibit A, which included 17 provisions designed to require Wayfarer to cease the on-set behavior of Mr. Baldoni. One of those provisions required an all-hands meeting to confirm. Yeah, we talked about that. Once again, moving forward, Exhibit A. After receiving the document, Wayfarer responded that Wayfarer, Sony, and production respectfully acknowledged that Ms. Lively has concerns regarding safety, although our perspective differs in many aspects, ensuring a safe environment for all is paramount. Irrespective of differing viewpoints regarding your outlined request, we find most of them not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefits. They should just be standard practice for not being a shithead at any. And this is where the difference is. Like, if you got to think, I know they're making a movie and they're making a movie about certain situations, but it's still a job. Would you act this way in your own job? No, maybe you're like, hey, I drive a garbage truck for a living. Of course, this is how I act. With my buddy Steve, I go in his dressing room and I cry. Maybe so. At the end of the January 4 meeting, having discussed at length the details of the concerns that had been expressed by Ms. Lively and others, the parties agreed to implement the following and follow the protections for return to production. Okay, as it was, production of the film resumed January 5 and concluded February 9, 2024. The film has been a resounding success. Okay, has it? I don't know. Leading up to and I'd never heard of it. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Leading up to and in connection with the release of the film during the summer of 2024, Lively and fellow cast members promoted the film in accordance with the marketing plan, credited and delivered to by the film's distributor Sony, which summarized in the quote talking points attached here too as Exhibit C. This is exhibit thing's going to bother me. Miss Lively and other cast members were under a contractual obligation to render promotional services according to. So I think what's happening is, after the movie, and because I don't know shit about this, but I'm taking into account kind of just stuff I'm seeing online. After the movie, they try to trash her or they try to make her look bad, kind of in retaliation. And that's all. And days leading up to the film's release, Mr. Baldoni abruptly pivoted away from the film's marketing plan and the types of publicity activities in which he had previously participated What the public did not know was that Mr. Baldoni and his team did so in an effort to explain why many of the film's cast and crew had unfollowed Mr. Baldoni on social media and were not appearing with him in public. To that end, he and his team used domestic violence survivor content to protect his image. Oh, interesting. As described further in detail below. See section 83 through 88. Okay, number 8 here. While the public also did not know that this was the beginning of a multi-tiered plan that Mr. Baldoni and his team described as social manipulation designed to destroy Miss Lively's reputation, the plan was backed by virtually unlimited resources. Wayfair's co-founder, co-chairman, and leading financier is multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz, who divulged, I wonder where he's from, the film's New York premiere on August 6, 2024, that he prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. Jesus. I mean, don't you have something better to do? With that backing, I'm assuming it's correct, Mr. Baldoni and his Wayfair associates embarked on a sophisticated press and digital plan in retaliation for Miss Lively's exercising her legally protected right to speak up about their misconduct on set, with the additional objective of intimidating her and anyone else from revealing in public what actually occurred. On July 31, 2024, following the recommendation of the publicist Jennifer A. Bell, Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni retained a crisis communication specialist named Melissa Nathan and her company, the agency group PR LLC. We'll call them TAG going forward. Miss Nathan delivered a proposal to Mr. Baldoni, which included a website to discuss full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything. Engage with the audience in the right way. Start threads of theories, discuss. This will be 100% protected. Mr. Nathan also proposed the creation of social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative comments, helping to change the narrative and stay on track. Per Miss Nathan, all of this would be most importantly untraceable. Wow. Look, the movie's out there. It's a success. You're not happy with it, presuming, once again, these are the facts. You're not happy with it, and then you got to spend, now you're going to just focus on trashing Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds. The plan went well beyond standard crisis PR. What Miss Nathan proposed included a practice known as astroturfing. We've heard about that before, which is like a fake persona of something. It could be even sending out crisis actors type of thing. Which has been defined as the practice of publishing opinions and comments on the internet in the media that appear to come from ordinary members of the public, but actually come from a particular company or political group. TAG circulated a scenario planning document to Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and others, which describe preparations and strategy should Miss Lively and her team make her grievances public, and is attached here too as Exhibit D. Once again, I've got a problem. This probably should be Exhibit 4. To get ahead of this narrative, Mrs. Nathan planned proposed strategies to advance misleading counter-narratives, including pushing Nathan's narrative that Miss Lively had less than favorable reputation. Proposing to explore planting stories about the weaponization of feminism, and misleading blaming Miss Lively for production members' job losses. See Exhibit D at 2-3. So this is I don't know, this is Justin here. Morning, not in love with the document they sent. Not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call. Someone, whoever this is, responds, this is the first time I'm personally gone through scenario planning with them, so I think let's discuss the thinking behind the document and actual process and protocol and how they implement these things. That's the most important part of this, is how quickly they can shut down the place stories in your favor. Be honest in this call. And let's give real feedback to each point. Justin responds, yeah, this feels very much like there is not much defense, and also them feeling strong like she's going to do something just a bit concerning what everyone had originally thought. So it sounds like to me, whether you're setting this up, at least in the complaint, is this meeting took place, the movie went forward, and then Justin is worried that shit's going to come out. So we're going to destroy these people. But we're worried about stuff coming out. Now, it seems like to me the best way to not have stuff come out is to not poke them so that they are forced to have stuff come out. Ryan Reynolds is no poor man. Blake Lively is probably no poor lady, but Ryan's well invested in companies. I don't think he is a poor man at all. You know, you got the movies he's doing. You've got the businesses he's involved in. He's got money. He's got enough money to work this thing over himself. Initially, Mr. Baldoni expressed concerns that Tag's written plan was insufficiently aggressive to protect him. Writing to Mr. Heath and Miss Abel, he said he was, quote, not in love with the document they sent. Not surely, we just read that. Feeling protected on the call. With Miss Nathan and her colleagues. In response, Mr. Heath attempted to reassure Mr. Baldoni that they had found the right people for his campaign. In Mr. Heath's words, the most important part of this is how quickly they can shut down and place stories in your favor. Later that day, Miss Abel and Miss Nathan exchanged the following text messages, expressing that Mr. Baldoni wants to feel like Miss Lively can be buried. Yikes. Miss Abel and Miss Nathan agreed that, of course, they would do just that. They could not say so in writing. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, we will destroy her. Imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. You mean like a complaint filed? You, of course, and that's, let's see if this, you can, of course, do that, but I think he needs to know I'm going to confidentially send you something. He's texting me and Jamie on the side just to arm you before this call. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. Of course, we need to send over the document. We will do so because that could get us in a lot of trouble. Hey, we don't want to disclose these kind of things because it could get us in trouble. So let me disclose that this can get us in trouble. Miss Nathan followed this by assuring Miss Abel, we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. We can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. I will be very tough. Yikes. Well, now that was on February. This is interesting. I think they said the film finished on February. Let's go here. So we're on page 8. I'm going to go up here just a little bit. August 2. When did they say that there was a date here that the film finished up. I want to say it finished in February. There you go. February 9. February 9, 2024, and concluded on February 9, 2024. So you go to here up to page 8, and this was written the day before that, on February 8. He has to look at this information for this document. We armed with that's all. Imagine if the document and all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. So he was prepping this right before the film actually finished. So yikes here. Let's see if the chat has any more information. Sounds like she was having bad press too. I don't think Blake is going through with the lawsuit. I think the complaint was a PR strategy to rehabilitate her image, to get back at Justin. It's all very pretty. That's Gwen. Gwen, thank you for that because, he's got Mint Mobile. I read she was getting a lot of backlash. You make a great point because what I've said is this, I'm like, everyone's talking about this complaint and they're talking about it being filed and this is out there. I have not seen the filed complaint. So we'll stay here on page 8, but I'll scroll up here because you're going to want to see this. So typically when we've gone over these, you guys have probably seen many of this. Right up here on the top right in this area, can you see the mouse over here? Over here, there's a stamp of the court saying when it was filed, time, date, county, federal jurisdiction, wherever. That's stamped up there. That's a filed, and then you got to serve that with the summons on the other party. But ahead of this is, in the county of, for the state of California, county of Los Angeles or whatever it is, or, the 3rd district, Northern California, blah, 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 blah. So you usually have those. This doesn't have that. So Gwen, thanks for maybe pointing out what I was already confused about. Maybe they haven't actually filed this and they've drafted this up and they've just released it out there and maybe they don't do anything about it. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Kind of interesting though. Let's go back down to page 8. Look, it's 80 pages. I'm not going to go through it all. I just thought there was some highlights here that, first of all, talk about this setup. And then we'll see what falls out in the news a few days later. A few days later, on August 5th, Mr. Baldoni set the narrative for the social media campaign, sending Miss Abel a screenshot of a thread on X that had accused another female celebrity of bullying women. Mr. Baldoni stated, "This is what we need." Okay, Miss Abel responded that she had just spoken to Melissa about this, about what we discussed for last night for social and digital. Miss Abel added, "Focus on Reddit, TikTok, IG, with reassurances that Miss Lively would be destroyed and buried." Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni directed Miss Nathan and her team to actively engage in retaliatory social manipulation campaign. And this is pretty brutal if this, can be proved and it's true. I mean, it's pretty damning text already. It's hard to put this in a different perspective and to kind of justify it, I think. But what's interesting is that he's in this movie. He's got this company. He doesn't want it to flop, but he wants to destroy her. Maybe they're thinking that, her reputation gets destroyed by this. People are going to be maybe more interested in the movie. I mean, now I know about it because I'm looking at this lawsuit as an example. Are they going to be more interested in seeing the movie at that point? Is it actually an ability for him to make more out of this, or is he just more concerned about his own reputation and that the shitstorm retaliation, coming back at him about this stupid meeting that he was crying in her trailer for hours on end? In weeks and months that followed, with direction and approval of Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni, the team engaged in sophisticated, coordinated, well-financed retaliation plan. The retaliation campaign relied on more than just publicists and crisis managers spinning stories. They also retained subcontractors, including a Texas-based contractor named Jed Wallace, who weaponized a digital army around the country from New York to Los Angeles to create, seed, and promote content that appeared to be authentic on social media platforms and internet chat forums. The Baldoni Wayfarers team would then feed pieces of this manufactured content to unwitting reporters, making content go viral in order to influence public opinion and thereby cause an organic pile-on. To safeguard against the risk of Lively ever revealing the truth about Mr. Baldoni Wayfarer team created, planted, amplified, and boosted content designed to eviscerate Miss Lively's credibility. They engaged in the same techniques to bolster Mr. Baldoni's credibility and suppress any negative content about him. Interesting. So there's more of this stuff going on there. I'm just going to skip down here a bit. On August, Nathan circulated a Daily Mail article entitled "String of Hard Videos to Watch" that have surfaced following tone-deaf Q&A to promote It Ends With Us. Could tarnish 36-year-old star's golden image for good. Wow, so this is this shit they're planting. Wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. And Miss Nathan replied, "That's why you hired me, right?" So this guy is part of the team, it sounds like. And they write this thing, they get it published in the Daily Mail. So this is what's fascinating, because they are getting fed, presumably, the Daily Mail is getting fed a piece that's just bogus. It's being written by his PR team, and it's being then trotted out there as like a news story, right? Now, it's opinion, it's Hollywood, it's gossip. But do you think it's much of a stretch that this shit happens in politics? Anywhere else? No. I was just watching Claire Danes. There was just a clip. I don't know how long ago it was, but she was on with Stephen Colbert, and he's talking to her. He's asking her about stuff, like doing research for movies and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, every year we meet with these spooks, these CIA people, and they tell us all these things and how to do this, and kind of the ins and outs, and what's going on there." But the things have really changed now. They how did she say it? They're really things have changed between like the White House and so maybe this is back with Trump. She was basically talking about Trump and the deep state, in a sense, the CIA, and that the media and the CIA coordination is more heavily involved or something like that. And then he immediately moves her away from this. Hey, look at this, look at something else. So this is stuff that happens. So just so you see a news story. Oh, it's in the paper. This is the problem. I had my friend Jonathan Scriven on here. This is kind of his thing. Oh, well, it's in the Washington Post. Come on. Like, okay. That's, I'm not saying the Daily Mail is the same as the New York Times, but who's to say it's any different? That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best. Wow, the guy's a little ballsy. As their own words revealed, I don't know how they got all this stuff already, by the way. these leaked things. The purpose of this social manipulation plan was twofold. It aimed to both conceal the pattern of harassment and other misconduct by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath and Wayfarer, and 2, retaliate against Miss Lively by battering her image, harming her business, and causing her family severe emotional harm. Millions of people, including many reporters and influencers who saw these planted stories, social media posts, and other online content, had no idea they were unwitting consumers of a crisis PR, astroturfing, and digital retaliation campaign created and funded by Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer to hurt Miss Lively. This is precisely the goal: astroturfing campaign to light the fire, to continue to stroke conversations, secretly blurring the line between authentic and manufactured content and creating viral public takedowns. Now, back to Gwen's comment that this could be all a ruse, just kind of their way of doing it, and they're not actually filing this lawsuit. Is that much different? Now, they're going to say this aren't fake. Okay, I get it. Yeah. They're using it in this way. And by the way, quite genius if that's even the case, because even if they don't file this, they're getting more. I mean, you put in Blake Lively, even in now you looked at the Wikipedia. It's all the accusations are listed out there under Justin Baldoni's page. Hers, same thing. You Google one of those, boom, there's a ton of stories coming out there. Matter of fact, more so, I'm aware of it now and I wasn't aware when the Daily Mail, as an example, the hit campaign. So her retaliation on him by doing this method may actually be some better off. Did she make the crying face that makes her so punchable? Maybe. But I will say this, Maddie, maybe she did. But he was actually crying in her dressing room. What do you think about that? Isn't that maybe the worst thing that's come out of this story? So we talked about that. As laid out in the complaint, the Baldoni Wayfarer-led public attack on Miss Lively was intended to result of a carefully crafted, coordinated, and resourced retaliation scheme to silence her and from others from speaking out about the hostile environment of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath created. As such, it was not only unconscionable and a breach of contract, but also illegal under both state and federal law. Which one are you following in? This Miss Lively brings this action to hold Wayfarer and its leaders, Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and Mr. Sarowitz, accountable for the ongoing retaliation, threats, and harm they have caused Miss Lively, other cast and crew, and all of their families. Factual background. This is just going to say how he's connected to these. Talking about the film. Mr. Baldoni ignored a well-established industry protocol on intimate scenes. Could be. Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content in other scenes. Okay, so, I mean, it sounds like I would be interested to know if after the agreement went on, and after the agreement went on, did the company, was the rest of the filming fine? It might have been fine. However, this retaliation is the problem. And the worded documents that they're specifically going after it. Now, look, you can, this is take a simple thing, right? Something that maybe everyone, unlawful detainers. I did those a little bit. So someone's trying to kick someone out of their property, a renter, right? Could be a commercial, could be just residential. One of the defenses sometimes is retaliation. Typical one we would see is landlord, kind of a piece of shit. Maybe the place is run down. Maybe the person isn't even, they're paying rent and they're like, yeah, but I've got leaking faucets and now there's going to be mold. And so nothing's getting done. And they call code enforcement. They're like, this guy is not, doing whatever. So code enforcement then comes out, cites him or her, the landlord. And now he wants to evict her simply based on, you calling code. So that's like retaliation. But it can also work the other way. Maybe the landlord is like, whatever they're trying. The point is, it's the reaction to this, the takedown, the retaliation that can be the big problem. And to me, it looks like they have in writing some pretty bad instances. Now, to what extent? I mean, they've got a lot of money riding on this. If they're literally trying to bury her, that is, at least they have some semblance of the intent of what they were trying to do with all this. Let's just keep going here. I'll just read these headlines. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath discussed their personal sexual experiences and previous porn addiction and tried to pressure Miss Lively to reveal details about her intimate life. Let's read that one. During a car ride with Miss Lively and her assistant driver, Mr. Baldoni claimed to Miss Lively that he had been sexually abused by a former girlfriend, which he has since shared publicly. At the end of the story, Mr. Baldoni shared that he had caused him to re-examine his past. He then said, "Did I always ask for consent? No. Did I always listen when they said no? No." Mr. Baldoni claimed this was an example of how we all have things from when we learn and grow. Miss Lively was unsettled with Mr. Baldoni's suggestion that he had engaged in sexual content without consent. Well, he's only doing a TV show about a movie. I'm sorry, about consent, basically abuse and whatnot. When Miss Lively exited the car, her driver immediately remarked that he did not want Miss Lively to be alone with Mr. Baldoni going forward. So you got witnesses. On the first day of production, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath described their past sexual relationships to Miss Lively, including the one of them used to, quote, hook up with a woman. Mr. Baldoni said that he had decided the woman wasn't the one. So then Mr. Heath had gotten together with her. Miss Lively found this description of passing along a woman to be disrespectful and disturbing. I mean, you know, look, I would just say this. It's the comments themselves like that is not the problem. The problem is, does she need to be hearing this? And I believe they're doing this it's like a groomer, right? They're trying to see where this person's boundaries are, right? And if your boundaries are a little warped, maybe you're getting, hey, we're going to get excited. Maybe she's excited by this kind of talk. Next thing you know, we've got, we're doing an Eiffel Tower and it's all fun and games. And I think that's really where they were going in this. And she just didn't like that kind of situation going on. And one off is not the big deal. It's that this all was together, I would imagine. You know, I just keep putting myself in this situation of like, if my wife's at work and this kind of stuff is happening. I'd be like, dude, you know, let's stop this. Let's stop this, okay? Mr. Baldoni objected to Miss Lively and other women by commenting or criticizing their body as sex objects. Okay, well, let's not disparage him completely. Miss Lively and others lodged grievances regarding the conduct of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath, which Wayfarer declines to investigate. Okay. I'm not going to read through all this. I'm just going to just read these headlines, and then maybe we can take a look at that. Anyone that gets their fancy. The parties negotiated a contract rider regarding Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's conduct on the set of this. It Ends With Us. This was in May. And there's just a lot of conduct there. I think these guys are just rubes, and they're just kind of sexually depraved people. Production concluded, and Miss Lively and other cast crew promoted the film according to the marketing plan. Okay, good for them. Hey, just from Justin Baldoni to Jennifer Abel, owner. Hey, just landed. What is the TikTok strategy? I'd like the guys to start posting me only talking about domestic violence and clips on why this movie is so important. Interesting. So there's a thing called Cancer Shield with Lance Armstrong. He used to have this cancer foundation, and he would always bring things up when people would argue to him about, or question him about his, are you cheating? You know, you taking illegal performance enhancing drugs or whatnot, PEDs. And he would somehow always tie it into, I've done, are you kidding? I would never risk my health after what I've been through, you know, the cancer survivor. I have this cancer foundation. I'm doing wonderful work. And so, you know, a lot of people are like, well, it's a cancer shield. He puts up the shield of cancer. It's a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer scare survivor. I had a thing on my ear once. They clipped out. It wasn't cancerous, but it was a scare. Anyway, he uses that perspective. And I think that's what's happening here with Mr. Baldoni, which is like, you can't go after him when he's doing a movie about domestic violence. You can't actually say he's like some sort of harasser, retaliation. He wants to bury her. It's not at all possible when he's doing these wonderful things. Mr. Baldoni and his team formulate a retaliation plan. We talked about that. Wayfarer engages Melissa Nathan and agency group on behalf of Mr. Baldoni to launch a retaliation campaign against Miss Lively. Okay, so there's a lot of facts going on here. Once again, we're only 30 pages. I'm not going to go. There's just so much. This does make me tend to believe that Gwen is right here, that this is kind of a staged event, that they're likely not filing this. This is quite the involved complaint. I would say it cost a pretty penny for some attorneys to draft this up, though. This is not a cheap little thing you got here. So So it looks like they're talking now about probably mentions of, oh, look at this. It's probably positive to negative. Normalized net sentiment of mentions of Blake Lively. So it goes June 2024, mostly positive, really flips over here when he starts his campaign, really goes negative in September, October, and there's hardly any positive situations until now. This is precisely what the effect the team had hoped to achieve. They manipulated the social conversation to discredit and bury Miss Lively in retaliation. Okay. I wanted to see Exhibit A. Oh, so then the rest of it's exhibits. So they do 62 pages of, they didn't even say what they're praying for, what damages and what relief. Really, Gwen, I tend to even believe you more and more. You state what your damages are. I don't see that there was any of that going on, and maybe they put it up in part of this, but you would see at least like, here's my claims now, and they go through each of the elements that they have. We talked about that with Trump. Defamation per se, defamation per quad, and they list all that out. Now this is just the exhibits, and we're not fake. There you go. It's fake. I just determined it's a fake lawsuit. Glad we got to the bottom of that. But what I want to do is let's play a clip here of pull that one. All right, let's try this. Let's transition this over. We're going to play a clip here. This is of someone, it's Amber Heard. You've probably heard of her, so let's play this.
Just a little while ago, we were...
Okay, I'm going to have to... This is why that guy's like, hey, can you get your shit together? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me play a clip. Oh, wait, I don't have any of the sounds going through my soundboard yet. So I guess I'll have to output Rodecaster Pro. Let's do that. All right, so maybe let me know if we've got a problem here, but let's try this once again.
Received an exclusive statement. Just a little while ago, we received an exclusive statement at NBC News from Amber Heard. Amber Heard was in that very high-profile defamation suit against her ex-husband, Jonny Depp, in 2022. She hasn't really spoken at all publicly since then. And she released a statement about this because Jonny Depp actually hired the same crisis PR team, or some of those same people. And she said that social media misinformation is, quote, as horrifying as it is destructive. Now, obviously, I've reached out to an attorney who represents the PR people who are mentioned in the New York Times report, who also, some of them worked with Jonny Depp several years ago, and they deny ever having anything to do with smearing Amber Heard's reputation. But as you can see, things are escalating, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions about all of this on both sides.
Interesting. So we will say a few things there, which is one, okay, there was a lot of who started the Amber Heard media blitz was Amber Heard going on writing a piece for, was it the Washington Post? That's why they ended up suing in Virginia, I think, and about Jonny Depp and saying that he abused her. The problem is with the Amber Heard statement coming out here, right, is we saw the trial. We saw the facts coming out there. We saw the handle, vodka, whatever it was, taking the tip of Jonny Depp. By the way, I cut this finger off. Can you see this? They sewed it back on. I have 2 fingernails in there. I got cut off when I was 1 year old, slammed in the door. Fantastic. Jonny Depp lost the tip of his finger. She shit on the bed. We saw the unfettered facts not going through a PR blender in trial. Okay, and you can make up your own mind for that. I don't find her believable. I found him more sympathetic, kind of all still trashy the way they drink. So the outcome of this is, I think going to Amber Heard is perfect if you want to discredit Blake Lively once again, and actually help Justin Baldoni, because you're bringing into a place. Remember, it was believe all women. And then Amber Heard comes out and literally destroys that premise, right? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't believing it anyway, but women lie, just like men do. They can be just as bad. She was awful. I think him winning the lawsuit was justified. Okay, so just reading Blake Lively stuff, she's got facts in there. She's got a bunch of details in there. And it seems like to me, assuming that the retaliation text messages and all that with the PR is actually legit and it's not made up, that there was only one reason he would want to bury her. She, didn't go along with it. What the facts are in the complaint are likely to be true, right? So he's a discredited person. But you're getting Amber Heard to come out there to try to justify Blake Lively in this situation and to glom onto it. Matter of fact, you heard there that this lady said they reached out to the PR firm. And the PR firm said they had never had any involvement against Amber Heard. They didn't. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just poor reporting. This lady never said that there was no correlation or interaction or, on their behalf working against Blake Lively. But maybe they have a defamation claim against Amber Heard now because their PR firm is going to suck. We heard the sound. Okay, so Amber Heard is not Blake Lively. Believe no women. Yeah, I would believe some women. I mean, give them a, like anybody, we'll start out believing you, and then perhaps we won't believe you anymore when we get a chance. Okay, is there anything else I wanted to look at this? No. So I've almost come to the conclusion, I could be completely wrong, this is a fake lawsuit. Let's go up here let's find Gwen. She's still there? This is the screenshot I probably want to take. I don't think Blake is going through with the lawsuit. I think the complaint was a PR strategy to rehabilitate her image and to get back at Justin. It's all very petty. Very, very I don't know that it's petty. You saw, you go through the facts here, Gwen Mendez. You go through and by the way, most astute, no offense to everyone else here, even though, oh my God, Merry Christmas, everyone, is a great comment. Maybe the most astute comment coming from here, and then I was able to tie it together, which is, this complaint looks weird. It looks weird from a civil point of view, which is, maybe I should just look and see if I could find a different complaint real quick that we can even just compare it to. Pro-Palestinian something. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is one we can take a look at. Well, this is one to the Supreme Court, but it's not much different here. You've at least got Supreme Court, who v. who, which on petition of writ of certiorari for the Supreme Court of New York, appellate Fourth Department. So, I mean, this is just this is the unfiled copy that they're given to everybody, or they filed it and then it's not stamped and sent back. But, there's one view of a case. I need to find a civil complaint here somewhere. Maybe I can see if I have any of these others. Let's go. Okay, maybe I'll just bring it. So anyway, with Gwen's comment here, I'm starting to wonder what, the reality of the situation, which is that this isn't a real complaint. And gotta find one here. I have so many of these Trump complaint. There we go. Let's take a look at this one. See what we have here. Okay, so complaint for demand and jury trial. This is, remember hers was and damages, right? So this is the nature of the complaint, the pleading, blah, 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 the jurisdiction and venue. They're talking about, the other one didn't even say where they were being filed. Okay, there's all these things that you would normally, statement of facts. I mean, this is obviously a federal one here going forward. And then it usually comes out to prayer for damages or something like that. A pleading here has to be very specific. Cause of action, and then they talk about the cause of action. Count 2, defamation per quad. Demand for jury trial. They did not state what their damages were, and you can do that at a later cause. But it's just devoid of just little things here and there that make you start to wonder where are we going with this. So I don't know. That's it. Believe no women except for Ursula Haverbeck. Should we look? Who's Ursula Haverbeck? Let's take a look at this. Is that Haverbeck? You're gonna German neo-Nazi activist. The Holocaust denial lady. That you got me. You got me. Okay, there we go. All right, people, I'm out. We're well over an hour. So I thank you for coming in here. Don't forget, subscribe, like the show. Remember, we had those people out there complaining. We heard the sound. Okay. We had those people complaining about all kinds of stuff about the show. I totally get it. But there's multiple types of shows here. Like as an example, potentially criminal, good logic. What are these guys? Sean will sit on his show. He'll build Don't say goodbye yet here, okay, JC. He will build model airplanes, okay, or whatever it is. He's doing this on his show. Good Logic. There's a lot of like dead air. There's those kind of just live stream kind of shits happening. You guys are all just chilling in the chat, I'm drinking coffee. Whatever, just chilling around. And then there's people that want a produced show start to finish. Bam, bam, bam. And now people come in there and they go, you wasted 3 minutes of my life. This was a great show otherwise. I'm like, okay, well, you stayed till the end. I mean, flip through it then. I mean, I get it. But you know what? You also get to hear some stuff about me, right? Just update at the end here. Adoption went really well yesterday. We had a great time. So like and subscribe in the show. We're growing our members very slowly but surely. We hit 0 on our goal today. I appreciate it. Everybody, what was the goal? I didn't even make one. You can start to do this. But I figured out the streaming, I think, a little better. Everything went off pretty much without a hitch. Other than that, take care, everybody. I hope you have a good Christmas. I probably won't do it on Friday. I might do a show on Friday. Let's see what's out there in the news. We've got Mangione. We've got, what else did I even have on my list today? I had other stuff on my list today. I had mailbag. We did that. Pro-Palestinian demonstration goes to court. Kilo. Maybe we'll do that one. It's the Kilo decision way back when. And that's the one I actually pulled up here that was going to the Supreme Court. They're trying to back this out, have them overturn it. I guess that's the way to say it. So anyway, we'll talk about that. If you guys find me on Twitter, Tyler Yonke, and send me your suggestions for shows, and we will see you. Have a good Christmas, everybody. Love y'all. Bye.
King of the Druids! Oh, that's all we needed.